Unit 3, Price Output Determination under different market forms. The price of a commodity and the quantity exchanged per time period depends on the market demand and supply function and the market structure. The market structure characterizes the way the seller and buyer interacts to determine equilibrium price and quantity. The existence of different forms of market structure leads to difference in demand and revenue function of the firm. The market structure mostly determines a firm's power to fix the price of its product. The level of profit maximizing price is generally different in different kinds of markets due to difference in the nature of competition. As such, a firm has to closely watch the nature of the market before determining its equilibrium price and output. In this unit, we shall discuss the nature of four of the most important market structure, namely perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly, and how these market structures operates to determine short run and long run equilibrium price and quantity. We shall start our analysis with perfect competition. Perfect competition features: suppose you go to a vegetable market and inquire about the prices of potatoes from a shopkeeper. He says potatoes are for rupees 20 per kg. In the same way, you inquire from many shopkeepers and you get the same answer. What do you notice? You notice the following facts: there are large number of buyers and sellers in potatoes market. All the shopkeepers are selling potatoes at rupees 20 per kg. Product homogeneity, that is, all the sellers are selling almost the same quality of potatoes, in the sense that you cannot judge by seeing the potatoes from which farmers field do they come from. Such type of market is known as perfectly competitive market. In general, a perfectly competitive market has the following characteristics: first, there are large number of buyers and sellers who compete among themselves. The number is so large that the share of each seller in the total supply and the share of each buyer in the total demand is too small that no buyer or seller is in a position to influence the price, demand, or supply in the market. The products supplied by all firms are identical or are homogeneous in all respects, so that they are perfect substitutes. The all goods must sell at a single market price. No firm can raise the price of its product above the price charged by other firms without losing most of or all of its business. Buyers have no preference as between different sellers and as between different units of commodity offered for sale. Also, sellers are quite indifferent as to whom they sell. For example, most agricultural products, cooking gas, and raw materials such as copper, iron, cotton, and steel sheet etc. are fairly homogeneous. In addition, all consumers have perfect competition about competing prices. Every firm is free to enter the market or to go out of it. There are no legal or market related barriers to entry, and also no special cost that make it difficult for a new firm either to enter an industry and produce if it sees profit opportunity, or to exit if it cannot make a profit. If the above three conditions alone are fulfilled, such a market is called pure competition. The essential feature of pure competition is the absence of the element of monopoly. Consequently, business combination of monopolistic nature are not possible. In addition to the above stated three features of pure competition, a few more conditions are attached to perfect competition. They are: fourth, there is perfect knowledge of the market condition on the part of buyer and seller. Both buyers and sellers have all information relevant to their decisions to buy or sell, such as the quantities of stock of goods in the market, the nature of products, and the prices at which transaction of purchase and sale are being entered into. Fifth, perfectly competitive markets have very low transaction costs. Buyer and seller do not have to spend much time and money finding each other and entering into the transaction. For sixth, under perfect competition, all firms individually are price takers. The firm have to accept the price determined by the market forces of total demand and total supply. The assumption of price taking applies to consumers as well. When there is perfect knowledge and perfect mobility, if any seller tries to raise his price above that charged by others, he would lose his customers. Price determination under perfect competition. Equilibrium of the industry. An industry in economic terminology consists of a large number of independent firms. Each such unit in the industry produces a homogeneous product so that there is competition amongst goods produced by different units. When the total output of the industry is equal to the total demand, we say that the industry is in equilibrium. The price is then prevailing is equilibrium price. A firm is said to be in equilibrium when it is maximizing its profits and has no incentive to expand or contract production. As stated above, under competitive condition, the equilibrium price for a given product is determined by the interaction of the forces of demand and supply for it, as shown in figure 14 in the next page. Figure 14, equilibrium of a competitive industry. In figure 14, OP is the equilibrium price and OQ is the equilibrium quantity which will be sold at that price. The equilibrium price is the price at which both demand and supply are equal, and therefore no buyer who wanted to buy at that price goes dissatisfied, and none of the seller is dissatisfied. He could not sell his goods at that price. It may be noticed that if the price were to be fixed at any other level, higher or lower, demand remaining the same, there would be no equilibrium in the market. Likewise, if the quantities of goods were greater or smaller than the demand, there would not be equilibrium in the market. Equilibrium of the firm. The firm is said to be in equilibrium when it maximizes its profits. The output which gives maximum profit to the firm is called equilibrium output. In the equilibrium state, the firm has no incentive either to increase or decrease its output. Firms in a competitive market are price takers. This is because there are large number of firms in the market who are producing identical or homogeneous product. As such, these firms cannot influence the price in their individual capacity. They have to accept the price determined through the interaction of total demand and total supply of the commodity which they produce. This is illustrated in the following figure. Figure A, market. Figure B, individual seller. Figure 15, the firm demand curve under perfect competition. The market price OP is fixed through the interaction of total demand and total supply of the industry. Firms have to accept his price as given, and as such they are price takers rather than price makers. They cannot increase the price above OP individually because of the fear of losing its customers to other firms. They do not try to sell the products below OP because they do not have any incentive for lowering it. They will try to sell as much as they can at price OP. As such, P lines acts as demand curve for the firm because it is a price taker. The demand curve D facing an individual competitive market is given by a horizontal line at the level of market price set by the industry. In other words, the demand curve of each firm is perfectly elastic. The firm can sell as much or as little output as it likes along the horizontal price line. Since price is given, a competitive firm has to adjust its output to the market price so that it earns maximum profit. Let us see in table 4 where demand and supply schedule for the industry were as follows. Equilibrium price of industry: demand 60, supply 5, demand 35, supply 35, demand 20, supply 45, demand 15, supply 55, demand 10 and supply 65. Equilibrium price for the industry is determined through the interaction of demand and supply is rupees 2 per unit. The individual firm will accept rupees 2 per unit as the price and sell different quantities at this price. Let us consider the case of firm X. Firm X quantity sold, total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue as given in table 5. Table 5, trends in revenue of a competitive firm. Firm's X price, average revenue and marginal revenue are equal to rupees 2. Thus we see that in perfectly competitive market, a price making firm's average revenue, marginal revenue and price are equal. As a result, when the firm sells an additional unit, its total revenue increases by an amount equal to its price. Here average revenue is equal to marginal revenue is equal to price. Condition for equilibrium of a firm. As discussed earlier, a firm in order to attain equilibrium position has to satisfy two conditions as below. Note that because competitive firm take price as fixed. This is the rule for setting output, not price. First, the marginal revenue should be equal to the marginal cost. If marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, there is always an incentive for the firm to expand its production further and gain by selling additional units. If marginal revenue is less than marginal cost, the firm will have to reduce output since an additional unit adds more to cost than to revenue. Profits are maximum only at point where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost because the demand curve facing a competitive firm is horizontal so that marginal revenue is equal to P. The general rule for profit maximization can be simplified. A perfectly competitive firm should choose its output so that marginal cost equals price. The MC curve should cut MR curve from below. In other words, MC should have a positive slope. Short-term profit maximization by a competitive firm. We shall begin with the short-term output decision and then move on the long run. In the short run, a firm operates with a fixed amount of capital and must choose the levels of its feasible inputs so as to maximize profits. In figure 16, DD and SS are the industry demand and supply curve which intersect at E to set the market price as OP. The firm of perfectly competitive industry adopt OP price as given and considers P line as demand average demand curve which is perfectly elastic at P as all the units are priced at the same level. MR is a horizontal line equal to average revenue line. Note that MC curve cuts MR curve at two places T and R respectively, but at T the MC curve is cutting MR curve from above. T is not the point of equilibrium as the second condition is not satisfied. The firm will benefit if it goes beyond T as the additional cost of producing an additional unit is falling at R and at R the MC curve is cutting MR curve from below. Hence R is the point of equilibrium and OQ2 is the equilibrium level of output. Short-term supply curve of the firm in a competitive market. One interesting thing about the MC curve of a firm is of a firm in a perfectly competitive industry is that it depicts the firm's supply curve. This can be shown with the help of the following figure. Figure 17, marginal cost and supply curves for a price taking firm. Suppose the market price of a product is rupees 2, corresponding to it we have D1 as demand curve for the firm. At price rupees 2 the firm supplies OQ1 output because here MR is equal to MC. If the market price is rupees 3 the corresponding demand curve is D2. At rupees 3 the quantity supplied is Q2. Similarly we have demand curves D3 and D4 and corresponding supplies are Q3 and Q4. The firm's marginal cost curve which gives the marginal cost corresponding to each level of output is nothing but firm's supply curve that gives various quantities the firm will supply at each price. For prices below AVC average variable cost the firm will supply 0 units because the firm is unable to meet even its variable cost. For price above AVC the firm will equate price and marginal cost. When price is high enough to meet the AVC, a firm will decide to continue its production. In figure 17, at price rupees 2, the AVC of the firm is covered and therefore the firm need not shut down. Thus, in perfect competition, the firm's marginal cost curve above AVC has the identical shape of the firm's supply curve.